You may have noticed a pretty massive trend on BookTube at the moment is 24-hour readathons. And it turns out this is not a new thing, and it also wasn't originally a BookTube thing. The earliest official 24-hour readathon event was Dewey's 24-hour readathon, which was founded in 2007 and is still going. And the idea here was people all over the world to read together for 24 hours. So depending on what time zone you're in, you're given a start and stop time so that everyone is reading together. And there are little micro challenges along the way, there are chances to win prizes. It's a whole amazing event. But recently these have become a BookTube phenomenon. So Read by Zoe has done a ton of 24-hour readathons, and she actually does stay awake for the full 24 hours, which is not a prerequisite in doing one of these. We will get to that in a minute. Basically, Brit hosts some 24-hour readathons that people are invited to join in with her. I've actually done 4 of these myself, so I've got some insider tips for you. If you want to join in and do a 24-hour readathon, how do you marathon read like that? First things first, like I said, you do not have to stay up for 24 hours. In fact, this is not very good for you, so I recommend that you do get some sleep, listen to what your body needs. But it's still a massive challenge, having a 24-hour period where basically all you're doing while you're awake is reading, and often people set themselves goals of how many books they want to read, so you have to read quite fast. It's a challenge, so I've got some useful tips. So I've divided these up into tips for preparing for your readathon versus tips on the day. So let's start with what you need to think about in advance. Tip number 1 is to choose your books wisely. So I've done this quite a few times with book series, and I think that works really well because you're not having to learn new characters and worlds every time you move to a new book. Rereading books you've already read before helps because it feels really lovely and comforting and you know what's coming a bit, so you will read them a little bit faster. Or you might want to pick just one really big book that you've always wanted to read. So Read by Zoe, for example, did a 24-hour readathon where she read the entirety of It by Stephen King all in one go. I would also think quite carefully about the genre. So comedy is great because if it keeps you laughing, you're going to be having a good time for 24 hours. Or thrillers could be fun, something really fast-paced and page-turning. I probably wouldn't recommend, just for this, reading a slow-moving sad book. Tip number 2 is to plan out your 24 hours. If you're someone like me who likes to be hyper-organised, I found this really helpful. So for example, when I read this entire series, I literally, this is very nerdy, counted out the pages, calculated how many pages I needed to read in every hour, and then I had a schedule so that I knew at what time I was supposed to start each next book. However, don't take this too seriously. It obviously doesn't matter at all if you don't reach your goals. I've failed my goals on half of the readathons that I've done. It's just quite fun having a schedule so that you know if you're on track or not. Tip number 3 is to choose your timing wisely. So traditionally, a 24-hour readathon goes from midnight to midnight, but you might not want to wake yourself up at midnight to start reading because you won't have had much sleep before then anyway. I've done them before where I've done 3 AM to 3 AM. It's quite exciting waking yourself up early to start it, but at the same time, maybe you want to do midday to midday with a full night's sleep in between so that you're always reading in the daylight. It's totally up to you. Just have a think about what time of day you want to be reading, what you know your sleep patterns are like, and plan it based on that. Tip number 4, buy your favourite snacks. You will need lots and lots of snacks and caffeine. This really helps with helping you feel awake, but also helps with making you feel motivated if you can reward yourself with your favourite snacks along the way. Tip number 5, think about whether you want to do it on your own or with a friend. And doing it with a friend might mean somebody that you actually live with, or might mean doing it remotely with somebody else and just keeping in touch via FaceTime or messages. Either way is really fun. I think there's pros and cons to both, so again, just think about which you'll prefer. Having a friend does help you stay motivated, but on the other hand, having a friend can be a bit of a distraction. So it depends how ambitious you're being with your goal. And then tip number 6, the final thing to prepare, get lots of sleep. Yes, go to bed early the night before, but you should also probably think about going to bed early the night before that as well. You want to be really well rested because whether or not you're staying up for 24 hours, reading all day is tiring work. Get some sleep. Okay, so you're feeling ready? Let's go into my tips for the day itself. Tip number 1, get dressed. Like if you're waking up at 3 in the morning, then yes, you might want to stay in your pajamas for a while, but if you stay in your pajamas all day, I find that I feel a bit gross. Plus, it helps you feel motivated if you've put on an outfit. It might just be trackies though, that's totally fine. The second thing that will help is to keep moving around. Find a few different reading spots that are comfy, or even just different positions if you don't have that much space, and keep switching between them because this will really help you not just fall asleep. And then take some breaks. Your eyes do not want to be just staring at a page all day. So get up, get moving, get some fresh air, even if that's just sticking your head out the window. Having a bit of sunlight and fresh air helps. And then as you're going, post your progress somewhere. So I like to post a picture of each book as I finish it on Instagram. So that gives me that little boost of achievement that I finished something, and also then you get some responses coming in from people saying well done or saying what on earth is wrong with you. But either of those are quite fun to receive. If you can, I would also recommend switching formats, so switching between audiobooks and physical books or ebooks. If you switch to the audiobook, it means that you've got time to do something else for a bit while you're still reading, so you could be preparing your next snack, for example, or even doing a little bit of exercise, which also really helps you feel more energetic. It also just helps the day stay interesting if you feel like you're changing it up a bit. Tip number 6 is to eat regular meals. So I know I just told you to stock up on loads of snacks, but as well as that, I would make sure your day has some structure. Try and eat breakfast, lunch and dinner at the normal times. And then finally, tip number 7 is play some games. So I mean this both in terms of take 5-minute breaks every now and then to play a game with somebody, but also you can turn the reading into a game. So I've played little games with myself, like every time you finish a chapter, you stand up and do 10 squats. And then as you get more tired, it might just be every time you finish a chapter, you stand up. Or every time you finish a chapter, you stay lying down, but kick your leg in the air. Every little helps. So that was all the tips that I could think of that have helped me when I've done these, but I'm sure other people who've done 24-hour readathons will have loads of binge reading tips of their own. So do leave your advice in the comments so that other people can try this for themselves. And I will link to loads of 24-hour readathon vlogs in the description box so you can check them out. We also made a video recently that was all about booktube trends, including 24-hour readathons. So I will link to that. Do check it out and let us know if there are any other booktube trends you'd like us to deep dive into. And if you're doing a reading marathon, good luck with it and let me know how it goes. See you next time.